Today I am sharing the science behind manifestation to prove that it actually works. So today we are getting into quantum physics, and hopefully I'm going to simplify this so you can understand exactly the science behind manifestation. So everything in our world is made up of small particles called subatomic particles or quantum particles, and these are also known as the God particle because the way they behave is really spooky and spiritual. These subatomic particles are basically just energy, and science has proven that these subatomic particles actually exist in every single location in the world at the same time, which sounds absolutely crazy, but this has really been proven. And when these subatomic particles are everywhere at the same time, they exist in a wave format. And we are familiar with other types of waves, such as radio waves, microwaves. So this is just waves that exist everywhere. This is how your internet works, your Wi-Fi works on this principle. There are waves everywhere in the atmosphere that you can't see, and these send particular signals to different devices. And it's not just devices that use these waves, everything in the entire world is tuned in and hooked up to these wave formats. And these waves, they can't be physically seen, they can pass through any barriers, they travel instantly, faster than the speed of light, even from one side of the world to the other, they travel instantly. But here's the interesting thing about these waves. They only behave like this when they're not being watched. As soon as the wave is watched or observed, it turns into physical particles, physical solid matter that occupies a particular location and particular speed and particular form. So we can identify different objects because these are waves that have now been observed and turned into particles. So every single possibility that you could ever imagine is now existing in wave format, in a state which is unobserved by other people. So we can't physically see all these possibilities, but science has proved that these possibilities are out there. There is literally any possibility that you could ever want exists already in wave format. It's just that you can't see it. So obviously we want to see things, we want to manifest things into our physical reality. So how do we do that? And we do this by looking at the waves or observing the waves. And when we observe the waves, this is known by science as the observer effect. Whatever you look at, whatever you observe, comes into physical reality. So if you take this to its next logical conclusion, everything that you observe comes into your physical reality. That means what you observe changes your own reality. And there are actually two different ways that we can observe things to change our reality. So what does it actually mean to observe things? How do we observe something? So the first method is the most obvious method, and when scientists talk about observing things, this is the method that they are talking about. We observe things that are already there. So this coaster is already in my physical reality, and simply by looking at the coaster, I am observing the coaster. And just by looking at the coaster, I am actually changing my reality that contains the coaster. I'm looking at the coaster, I'm moving it here, I'm moving it there. My reality has changed. But how did I actually move the coaster? How did the coaster physically move? Well, it obviously moved because my hands picked it up and moved it. But how did my hands know to pick it up and move it? They knew to pick it up and moved it because I decided in my mind that I was going to pick it up and moved it. I imagined in my mind that this coaster is now going to be waving around all over the screen because I imagined it first in my mind. There is nothing that the physical body does without first imagining it in our mind, and this is how everything works in reality. What we expect to see, we have first imagined in our minds, and we all have particular beliefs about how reality actually operates. I believe that if I was to drop this coaster on the floor, it would smash. That is my own belief. If I dropped it right now, it would probably smash. If I had a belief that this would never smash, maybe I've been told that this is rock solid material, it's been hardened with a special finish and it will never smash, I would have a belief that it would never smash. So when I'm observing a coaster dropping to the floor, it's my own belief system that determines how it actually behaves in my physical reality. And scientists all have their own assumptions. When they are performing scientific experiments, they all have assumptions on how that experiment is going to go, and that's why we get different results with the same scientific experiment. And that's often why the very first person to do an experiment will set the pattern for how future experiments will go, because everybody would expect to get similar results from that first set of results. Now, it is possible to manifest just by looking at what's already in your physical reality and deciding exactly what you want from what you've already got. Say, for example, you wanted to move house, you wanted a nice new house, then you might think, well, I'm going to look at the houses that are already on the market and I'm going to choose one of them, and then I'm going to imagine living in that house, and then you would manifest moving into that house, and that would be the house that you would manifest. So now let's look at the second option for using the observer effect to actually change your reality, and this is the most exciting option by far, and scientists don't talk about this very much because they like to observe things that can be proven. This kind of thing scares them too much. They don't want to base too much on what they are assuming to be true, because the possibilities are endless and humans actually can't comprehend how powerful they are by really thinking about this logically. So the first way that you use the observer effect to manifest is to see what's already there and assume something about it, which changes your reality. And depending on how much you assume it is going to be different from what you want or what you've currently got, then that is what will manifest. But the second reality, you can actually observe things that are not physically in your world right now. So how do you actually observe something that's not even in your physical reality? You do it using the imagination. The imagination is not just for children, it's really, really powerful, and this is what we use to manifest. As I was saying, you don't physically move something from one position to another without it having been in your imagination first. Everything that is ever in this world around you was invented by somebody's imagination, so you have to use your imagination. That is what is extremely powerful, and I'm encouraging you not to limit your imagination to things that you already see, but to use your imagination to manifest things that you haven't yet seen. So don't think, well, I'm always going to be earning this amount of money because this is what's currently in my bank account, and this amount of money has always gone into my bank account every month. You are observing what's already there and what's been there in the past, and because of your imagination, you are just bringing more of the same into your reality. But if you imagined that you had a pay rise or that you increased the amount of money you made from your business, then that is how you manifest things that are not already there, by using your imagination. If you had a desire to live in a particular house, say for example, you wanted a house with a swimming pool, maybe an indoor swimming pool or an outdoor swimming pool, but you know that the houses in your town that you live in don't tend to have swimming pools, you've never seen one on the market, but you have a desire to have a house with a swimming pool. You use your imagination, you imagine yourself living in that house with the swimming pool, and that's actually what will manifest. Because remember the waves, all of the waves of all of the potentials that anything that you could possibly imagine are already present. They already exist. You just need to bring them into your physical reality by turning them into physical matter, by using your imagination, which is the same as observing something. And when you use your imagination in this way, I call it creating a reverse memory. You create a memory of you doing something, experiencing something before it's actually taking place in your physical reality. And I've got another video that you can go and watch after this video to learn more about creating your own reverse memories. Another question that you might have is that if everything is created based on my own imagination, how do I interact with other people? If everybody is imagining different things, how does the world operate? And this is when parallel realities come into the equation. And I've got a video explaining how parallel realities work, so you can go and check that out as well. And if you're curious about learning more about how to manifest based on a scientific point of view, then I have a whole course dedicated to this subject inside my Business Manifestation Club, and there is a link to that. You can actually join for free, so go and click on that now and get started, and you can watch the whole course for free, and it's free for 7 days. And I would love to know, have you ever manifested something that wasn't already in your physical reality, something totally unexpected? Leave me a comment below and I would love to know. And while you're down there, I would love it if you could like this video and subscribe for more. And now it's your turn to go and put your stamp on the world.